Hey Mysterions, I'm Shay.
And I'm Jen.
And this is Crimes, Cryptids, and Controversies.
This is a true crime and paranormal podcast. Today we're talking about Sarah Kathryn Boone, also known as the Suitcase Murderer, or possibly we could call her the hide-and-seek murderess.
Oh.
Yes. And after listening to this woman for a few minutes, I instantly asked myself what kind of crazy rules of hide and seek was going on with this murder, because I've never heard of such a thing.
I don't want to play hide and seek with Sarah Boone.
Oh, just wait. Just you wait. This is a weekly podcast. Sometimes we get excited and post more than once a week, so don't forget to subscribe and keep up with our random episodes. With that being said, let's explore. So, Shay, where is Sarah from? Since I kept Shay away from this case and she's never heard of it. Take a guess. Where do you think she's from?
Florida.
Yep, you guessed it.
Wow, what a shock.
My personal favorite state to cover. It's Florida. Florida always seems to be the place where when you think you have heard everything possible, someone in Florida proves you wrong. This case happened back in February 2020. Sarah was a 42-year-old native Floridian woman who was born in Orlando. She graduated from Edgewater High School. She states that she is always the best at everything she does, all the time, to everybody. She is the best mother. She is straight A's in school. She is just the best at everything.
Okay.
Well, I guess that lasted until this unintentional incident happened. And when I say unintentional, Shay, this woman used the word unintentional at least 100 times in a few days.
Okay.
Yes.
Can't wait to see how she accidentally murdered someone.
Unintentionally.
Oh, excuse me. Unintentionally.
Yes, unintentionally. That's her favorite word.
Words matter.
Words matter. Sarah is now facing a second-degree murder charge in that February 2020 death of Jorge Torres Jr. Now, George is spelled the Jorge way, Jorge, because obviously he is Hispanic in nature, but his name is pronounced George. So Jorge Torres Jr., who died after being zipped into a suitcase and left inside the suitcase for hours, unable to breathe, according to Orange County investigators. We are getting close to the 3-year mark, and the trial has been moved a few times now, which is getting very irritating, I'm sure, for George's family as well.
Oh, yeah.
The latest update is for Boone to appear before a judge for pretrial hearing on January 17, 2023 at 9 a.m. So the question remains, was Sarah scorned by a cheating boyfriend? Or maybe it was the alcohol use that night?
Oh,
or was it really a hide-and-seek accident? Whatever it was, Sarah is a horrible liar. She's a fake crier. She can't keep her story straight, and the lies are so pathetic it just makes me angry, baffled, nonstop, and incites a deep claustrophobic pain for what George endured during his final moments of life. So, let's dive into this case.
But not before a news break.
News break!
Okay, so this one is about Kelsey Turner, a former Playboy model and Maxim model who turned murderer. So she quietly entered an Alford plea deal to the charge of second-degree murder, which, if you don't know, the Alford plea means that the defendant entered a guilty plea but still maintains their innocence, according to online court records. So Kelsey had previously pled not guilty to the charges of murder and conspiracy to commit murder before reaching a plea deal this week. She is now facing 10 to 15 years in prison after her partner, 71-year-old respected psychiatrist Thomas Burchard, was bludgeoned to death and his body was found in the trunk of an abandoned car in the desert area of East Las Vegas.
I mean, I'm thinking about this, and he was bludgeoned to death and his body was found in the trunk of an abandoned car. Mm-hmm. So, anybody who's dead weight, like, do we see that this girl did this on her own?
No, there's 2 other people.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly.
This is just crazy. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand.
We'll definitely have to cover this one at one point. It looks like there's not really going to be an update on this one because, like, she's convicted. She's going to prison. Goodbye. So we'll just not do an update, but we'll do an episode on her because I'm interested in this
I don't
one.
understand why we still have this Alford plea thing. It's very irritating.
It is.
If my family member was killed, I would not be okay with somebody going, I'm taking an Alford plea because I want to keep my innocence. No.
No, you fucked up, Aaron.
Yeah, you need to be convicted.
That's stupid.
You need to admit you're guilty. There should be no plea if you're not admitting you're guilty. It's either you're not guilty and you're going through the whole process, or you are guilty. Why is there something in between?
I know. I want to, honestly, we should look up the history of the Alfred plea at some point and do like an episode on stupid ass laws.
Can we have like a criminal attorney eventually who's listening tell us why the Alfred plea is still okay in this country?
Tell us if we sound like ignorant idiots who are like, that's stupid. And you're
These
like,
girls don't understand what's going on.
Because we probably don't. So just please educate us.
I need some education here.
Anyway, on to Jen's story today of Sarah Boone, and I've never heard of it, and I'm very anxious, so let's just do this.
All right, let's do it. So this story takes place in Winter Park, Florida, which is a quaint little established city toward the northeast side of Orlando, Florida, in Orange County. You know why I know that? Because personally, I lived there for a couple of years, and I enjoyed it very much. The crime rate is very low in Winter Park, and it's known for being a pretty safe, family-oriented place to live. The city of Winter Park actually started out as a vacation resort to mostly like northeastern bankers and stuff who were going on vacation during the winter. So that's how that area started out.
Winter Park.
Winter Park.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Over the years, it developed into more, but there's still very much what you would want to call old money there.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So there's still a lot there. There's like houses that look like little castles there, but then there's like the average person there too. It's kind of a little bit of a mix there. They have a very artsy college called Rollins College there, a little downtown area. It's very quaint. It's like, I would call it quaint. Like, that's a good word for it. So back on February 24th, 2020 at 1:01 p.m., Sarah Boone called 911.
911, what is the location of your emergency? 4748 France Court, apartment 3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send a line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
And she literally started out not answering if it's police or medical and saying, my boyfriend is dead.
Okay, bitch, damn. Like, lube me up before you go in raw. God. Anyway.
Now we switched dispatchers. That was a female dispatcher who originally answered, and now it's a male dispatcher who took over the call.
Fire risk. That's the location, Mercy.
Desk 32.
No, please don't leave.
4748 France Lane.
France Court.
No, tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing, and like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep, and I woke up, and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. It's like he has like blood coming out of his mouth, and I don't know if like he had like an aneurysm or what happened.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Listen, we're getting help out there too. Okay. Is he hanging from somewhere or what, ma'am?
No. I pulled him out of the suitcase. I tried giving him CPR.
So he was in a suitcase?
Yes, and I fell asleep.
Okay, how old is the boyfriend, ma'am? 42-year-old male. All right, listen to me. Okay, I just need to confirm this. Is he awake at all? Is he conscious at all?
No, he's purple.
Is he breathing?
No.
I need you to get him on the floor, flat on his back for me, okay?
I did. I tried giving him CPR.
Yeah, okay.
But nothing happened. He's purple.
Shay, I'm just saying, it kind of sounds like Sarah does really know what happened. I'm just saying.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
She's like, oh my God, he's dead. That's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you right by him now?
Yes.
Is he cold and stiff?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's not necessarily cold, but he's stiff. And he's
right,
purple.
okay. All right, listen to me. Listen to me. I want you to lay him flat on his back for me on the floor.
I did.
Removing the pillows, okay.
Yes, I did.
All right, okay.
He's stiff and purple.
Okay, listen, okay, man, that's fine. We're still going to do compressions on him, okay? Place the heel of your hand on his breastbone, right in the center of the chest, right between the nipples.
Yes.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Baby, I'm telling you. Just by looking at him, you can tell.
Okay.
Okay, he just gurgled.
Baby girl, if he's gurgling, he's alive. Fix
mean,
this.
Place the heel of your hand right between his breastbones. Put your other hand on top of that hand. We want to pump his chest to me hard and fast. Going to do this twice per second.
I'm doing it again.
Okay, no, just keep on pumping. That's all you need to do for me. I don't need you to stop and talk or anything. I just want you to count out loud for me, okay?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is nice.
Okay, ma'am, just keep on pumping his chest. That's all you need to do for me, okay?
Come on, please. Hurry up.
Okay, ma'am, they're driving here as fast as they can. Okay, don't stop to say hurry up. Just keep on pumping and counting.
I'm still doing it while I'm talking to you, okay?
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Have you done CPR? I've done CPR. It is exhausting.
You
cannot
did CPR?
breathe. Right, exactly. A nurse in the ER?
It's weird.
Like, after a few seconds, it takes it on you, but a couple minutes of it, like, that's why we switch off. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way this woman was doing CPR for a while and talking the way she was talking. She was not.
Still doing it.
All right, just continue pumping his chest. Count on us, I can count with you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 32. Please hurry.
Okay, ma'am, they're getting there as fast as they can, okay?
He's stiff and he's purple.
Keep pumping his chest for me, ma'am. All right, they're getting there as fast as they can, along with the sheriff's office also, okay? 1,
We were playing hide
2,
and seek.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep on pumping for me, ma'am.
I'm doing it. We were playing hide and seek.
Right, okay.
Horrible. This is horrific. What happened? Like, what happened? I'm still doing it, okay?
All right, okay, good. And you found him in a suitcase, you said?
Yes. We were playing hide and seek last night. I fell asleep. I think they're here.
All right, just keep on pumping his chest until they take over, okay?
I am.
So soon after that, and still while on the phone with 911 dispatcher, the EMTs arrived and pronounced the death of Jorge Torres.
Come in. Can I stop pumping now?
Let them take over for you, okay?
When was the last time anybody saw him? Last night. We were playing hide and seek. He hit the suitcase. Unfortunately, he's been down too long. There's nothing we can do for him.
Even after he gargled, like showed he was alive? Or do you think she made that up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary, honestly. Like, her frame of mind seems completely detached from reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was whatever. I can't judge her. She's still innocent, guys.
Allegedly.
That 911 call sounded horrible.
Suspicious. Okay.
And at first you think this is a terrible way for a fun game to end. That's how I started out going, oh, wow, this is just terrible, right?
Yeah.
Like, wow, hide and seek led to this. That's unfortunate.
Like,
maybe
again.
Jorge found a great hiding place.
He did a little too well.
Right. That's what I was thinking at first, right? Like, oh, wow, Jorge found like this awesome hiding place in his suitcase, but it ended tragically. I mean, I've heard of people and kids dying from hiding spots and other incidents while playing hide and seek, but I had this burning question in my mind. Who was Jorge hiding from? She helped zip Jorge up into the suitcase, and they're the only two there. Who is Jorge hiding from?
And not to mention, you would think after a minute he'd be like, okay, Ali Jackson free, please come find me.
Oh, that comes. Hold that thought. So the case is pretty easy to follow. Little bit of background, guys, because really there's like two main people. There's Sarah and there's Jorge.
Okay.
That's not counting the police, the medical personnel, ex-husband who's briefly there, but mainly two characters. So 42-year-old Sarah Kathryn Boone. So prior to Sarah Boone, she was married to her ex-husband, but even before that, she went by Sarah K. Paulson. I'm guessing that's her maiden name.
Okay.
She was born October 10th of 1977. She's about 5'3" tall, so I'm just giving you like a look-see in your mind of her. She's not a huge woman. She's pretty small. She's divorced. She shares a son named Lucas with her ex-husband. The other main person is the deceased Jorge. I already told you, it sounds like Jorge. It's spelled like Jorge Torres, who was also 42 at the time, and he was from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At the time of his death, he was unemployed, and he had 3 daughters. Sarah was always close to where she was, because, you know, she was born in Florida, and Jorge had lots of his family back in PA.
Right.
Okay, so the other person connected to these people who are in this story is Sarah's ex-husband, and his name is Brian C. Boone, hence her last name of Boone. Brian had petitioned for a divorce November 30th of 2017 with Orange County, and it was later finalized, and they share custody of Lucas.
They did.
Well, exactly. They did. You're right. You are absolutely right. So now Sarah and Jorge live together in their Winter Park apartment at 4748 Franz Court apartment number 3. In some of the videos, you guys will hear them say like Franz Place or something. It's not. It's Franz Court. It's something that keeps getting said over and over again. Like it's kind of funny throughout the whole thing. They're like, no, it's Franz Court.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit of an important detail.
Yeah. So they had been dating about 3 years back in February 2020. So if you think about that, the divorce was filed November 30th of 2017. And that usually takes like 60 to 90 days if there's no contesting custody and such. And then you're talking about February 2020. She was dating him about 3 years to 3.5 years. So there was no time wasted here and might be some overlap.
Right. I'm wondering if they had like separated previously.
Mm-hmm. I actually looked that up again to make sure on another source with the clerk of the court. November 30th, 17 is when it was filed.
Okay, Sarah.
Right. So now that you have the little bit of background and know about the 911 call, let's move on. So on Monday, February 24th, 2020, at approximately 1:09 p.m., police arrived to the Winter Park apartment. The fire department and medics from Orange County Rescue 63 were present on the scene with Sarah, who was standing on the sidewalk. She had on her shirt, some pink shorts, and what appeared to be like a animated gray printed sweater. The police officer walks up and says a few things to Sarah. And really, one of the first things out of Sarah's mouth is, "I really need something to drink. I have my Dr. Pepper on the counter."
Swallow spit, bitch.
Like,
God.
What? Like,
not the time.
I know when people pass, everybody handles it differently, right?
Yeah.
Some people say things that they would never say, but this girl, I can't with her.
If it were just like that and that was an isolated comment incident, then it's like, okay, maybe you're just
not.
handling this weird.
It is absolutely not.
Super.
Right. So after that, the officer, and she's really nice and she's really trying very hard to be pleasant. She explains to Sarah that she cannot go into the home or anywhere in the backyard of the apartment. She needs to stay out front on the sidewalk in front of the apartment. So the officer asks what happened because she just arrived, okay?
Yeah.
And Sarah says, I fell asleep. Yeah.
Do you go deaf when you fall asleep?
So according to Sarah's story, 42-year-old Boone and 42-year-old boyfriend Jorge Torres Jr. were outside on the apartment patio in the back of the apartment. And at some point, we don't have a time, George left to go get some smokes from the store and returned to the apartment. This is all according to Sarah. They were doing puzzles and then they decided to do some painting. They listened to some of his music, even though she doesn't like it, she said. And then they decided to drink some Woodbridge Chardonnay wine.
Specific.
I guess that's what does it. I don't know. Sarah goes on to say then they decided to play hide and seek in their Winter Park apartment. I mean, I'm all about hide and seek.
Right,
like that's one of my
fun.
favorite games. In the beginning of this case, I'm like, oh, this is just devastating. This poor accident. Like, no. So Sarah says something about going upstairs and hiding in the shower. However, George didn't bother to even search for her, so eventually Sarah got a little upset, went back downstairs, and was a little confrontational with George about if they were really going to play hide and seek or not. Then Sarah goes on to say that they both thought that it would be funny, and she says this repeatedly, so these are not made up words. They both thought it would be funny to put George in a suitcase, and he willingly hopped inside before she zipped the suitcase up with him inside.
What is she, a baby? Where'd he go?
Well, that's my question. My burning question in the beginning of this case is who was he hiding from?
Her
and
object
why
permanence?
is it such a good place to hide if she helped him get in there?
Yeah. Do you have a third friend running around like, haha, I'm going to find you?
Her son was not there. He was with his father. So this doesn't even make common sense at this point. I'm like, wait a minute. You hopped him into the suitcase and zipped him up? Like, I'm confused here.
And then
already.
you're going to pretend to search for him? Like, girl, what is the plan? What is the end game here, ma'am?
You're 42 years old and you have a child. So I know you know how to play hide and seek, and this is not how you play hide and seek. So there was this convenient situation that they already had a suitcase in their front room or living room, so Sarah says. She said they were going to fill it up and donate a bunch of clothes.
Okay.
Keep this in mind as later on Sarah describes how her suitcase is always kept upstairs way in the back of her closet. Now the reason I know that is because I watched the interrogation. So she was like, it's always in the back of my closet upstairs. So keep that in mind, guys.
Okay.
Sarah said neither she nor George was drunk at all when the suitcase event occurred. And they had only shared one bottle of wine at the time. At about 12 midnight on Sunday night into Monday morning, Sarah says she was tired. So she went upstairs to go to bed and she left George there in the suitcase.
What the fuck? Did she just forget about him?
Oh no. But she figured he would be able to get out.
Girl, you had to put him in. You're done.
No, remember she said he hopped in.
Hey,
Sarah says she laid on her bed for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then she fell asleep.
You didn't go, oh, it's been 20 to 30 minutes and my boyfriend's not next to me. Maybe he's still stuck in this fucking suitcase.
See, that's why I kept Shay away from the story so I can get her natural reactions.
I'm so annoyed.
Because I like natural reactions and obviously I'm already looked at it so I can't give you my natural reactions. Yeah, so no, she didn't. She just kind of was like, oh, I'm tossing and turning. She mentioned she was reading a book for like 20 to 30 minutes and then I fell asleep. The problem is I fell asleep. She says it repeatedly to everybody. Apparently, George was not able to get out of that suitcase. So Sarah then goes on to say she woke up at about 11 a.m. Monday morning. She laid in bed for about an hour. She made some comments in the interrogation and the questioning that she was thinking maybe he was on his laptop because she didn't hear him while she was laying on the bed, or maybe he was in the bathroom. But it took her about an hour, she said, before she went out to go figure out why she didn't hear him.
So I'm not gonna lie, my lazy ass does that all the time. I'll sit on TikTok.
But you also didn't zip your husband up in a suitcase.
That's
okay.
a fair point. He was out stretching his little legs, so...
Yeah, so she decided she'd walk downstairs, and she thought to herself, oh, he is in the suitcase still.
Girl.
And she literally said that word for word while being questioned one time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is her words. So I took him out and did CPR, and then I called him. And when she says him, she's referring to her ex-husband, Brian. And then I called you guys. I don't know if he had a heart attack or one in there. Like, I don't know what happened. That's all from Sarah's mouth.
Sarah, you're an idiot.
So according to Sarah, Brian lived around the corner.
Okay.
So that's her explanation for calling Brian first, since she was supposed to get Lucas from her ex-husband. When Brian arrived, he let Sarah use his phone to call 911. And literally, like, when you watch Brian talk to the cops, he's like, I didn't go into that apartment. I went to the door. I saw that there was an issue, and I told her to call 911 from my phone.
You know what? 911 is too urgent. I would also call my ex-husband first. That's so much easier to just wait for him to come over. It's more relaxing.
But remember, she was doing CPR. So how long was she doing CPR? Because, I mean, man down, and she wasn't heaving or anything when they got there.
Or sweaty. Or
no, she was not. Absolutely not. There was no nasty stuff. Her shirt wasn't all messed up.
I was going to say, because you're going to get some backsplash,
yeah,
I'd imagine.
CPR. Plus, I mean, when they do the autopsy, in fact, they did do the autopsy. Yeah, now that you said that, Shay, I don't remember it coming back with any broken ribs. So if she was doing CPR that long.
She did it in a shitty way. What'd she do? Just like tiny little boop boop?
I don't know. If you think that's strange, the story gets much stranger.
Cool.
Yeah, think about any fully grown adult folding themselves up well enough to be zipped in a suitcase for more than just a few minutes. I mean, how was Sarah expecting that George was going to get himself out if he didn't in the few minutes prior to her going upstairs?
Wait, quick question. Is he like a tall boy, a chunky boy, skinny? Do you know?
Yeah, I do know. I should have put that in here, but I believe he was like 5'9", and he's thin. He is thin.
Okay.
And I'm going by his picture from the Orange County.
I wonder if he was predisposed to flexibility.
Because I could see, when I looked at his picture, I could see it happening, but I can't see it happening for very long.
Well, okay, and to be fair, you probably could get yourself out of the suitcase if you wanted. Yeah. Because you just like poke your little finger through the...
Well, but that's what I said.
Yeah.
But I think we're thinking from like when we were kids or something, because if you're a grown man and you're anything over 5 foot, you would almost have to be in a ball position to get in that suitcase.
Like
so
fetal,
how can you get your arm backwards if you're crushed up against the sides?
The only thing I can think of, because I was a little maniac as a kid, and I did enjoy being in claustrophobic spaces, go figure. So you can take your little fingernail and put it on the back of the zipper, like the flat part, and just like scooch it up really carefully.
Well,
wait, no,
about
because
the
I don't want to give her ideas.
No, I thought the same thing at first, but then I thought we're going to do an experiment for the YouTube video part when we do that later, and we're going to have a few people hop in the suitcase.
Can I just drink Chardonnay for fun? Like, my fat ass isn't going to fit, but...
I think we should share a bottle of Chardonnay first so that we can feel like we're in the same position.
Yeah. Play a rousing game of hide and seek to get us all in the hide and seek vibes.
First of all, I don't even think I'll be able to get in the suitcase, okay? I'm going to try. So Sarah said it took her 20 to 30 minutes of laying in the bed, remember? Reading, tossing, turning, or whatever she said she needed to get to sleep. By the way, I watched the interrogation twice. The whole time, all I wanted was one of these detectives to say, who's George hiding from? And they never said it. And I'm like, I hope in court?
Yeah.
That's a question. I don't understand who George is hiding from.
It defeats the purpose of hide and seek if the seeker knows where you're hiding.
Exactly. It doesn't even make sense. That's what I'm saying.
It's not hide and go help. It's hide and go seek.
The story doesn't make sense.
No, the math's not mathing, Sarah.
But again, I'm not a police detective, so I'm feeling like they didn't want to compromise anything. You know, and they're going to let that play out in court. I mean, it would make sense if he hopped into the suitcase on his own while it was in the back of the closet or something. My thought is Sarah made it a point during the interrogation to say that suitcase is always kept way far back in the back of her closet. She made it a point to talk about that.
That's weird. Like, why would she bring that up?
And we're playing hide and seek, right? So wouldn't it make sense that George went up into the back of the closet where she originally hid in the shower upstairs? He went upstairs to the back of the closet and hid in the suitcase. And then she just zipped him up. Oh, hold on to that thought. We're not done. You'll have some more here. So then Sarah's story starts to get really interesting, where it seems there is more to her story of unintentional death. On the scene, not long after arrival, the cops proceed to talk to Brian, the ex-husband, away from Sarah. They actually ask him if he could walk down the sidewalk some away from her. And he seems like such a good guy. When you guys see the videos, when we get that YouTube part done, I just can't with this poor guy. Being that he's been through probably a mess with her, he is like like, I'm just gonna deal with this kind of person.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not.
He's just trying to drop his kid off and go the fuck home.
I think he's so past over it.
Today's date is February 24th, 2020. The time now is approximately 15:25 hours. So, Brian, to my understanding, you were called over here. So can you just take me back to this morning and your involvement with Sarah, which is your ex-wife?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. We've been divorced about a year and a half.
Okay. What do you know about her and George's relationship?
I mean, I think she had him arrested like 5 or 6 times for domestic violence. I mean, he's stuck a steak knife in the back of her leg one time. So
has he always been the one that gets arrested, or has she ever been arrested?
She was also one of the times.
Okay.
One of the times both of them were arrested, but all the others have been him. But the very next day, she's in there trying to get him bailed out. So, I don't know. Basically, they get drunk, they get in a fight, she gets upset, she calls the cops. I mean, granted, I saw lots of black eyes, bruises.
On her?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you said when she drinks that she can get physically aggressive.
She can. I mean, she did it to me a lot, where she'd hit me and stuff like that. I mean, she's tiny.
What do you mean hit, though? Like, open hand smack you, or like try and punch you?
Yeah, she'd punch me. I mean, more arms. She many, many times would use her claws. Scratches on my neck at times, on my arms. I mean, things like that, where she'd dig with her claws. I never got that drunk, and I had restraint. I never touched her back. I think George didn't have that restraint, and at times he would hurt her back. So, I mean, for all I know, all the times he got arrested, she started it. I don't know. I know she could get violent at times.
Okay.
And that's kind of where that clip ends there. Brian's like very matter of fact. All right, so the police then move on to speak to the neighbors. The neighbors that police spoke with stated that Sarah was hardly ever not drunk. They said Sarah always seemed to be tired, as if she is hungover or tweaked out on something, like she was high or drunk. Neighbors also said Sarah would pass out on their porches and would be wandering around the streets at all hours, as well as they often heard banging on the walls of the apartment. There's a lot of people who heard stuff from them all the time, and it was a 3-year period of problems.
That sucks.
This was not the first incident by any means. We're going to get in that later. One of the police detectives goes over and speaks to a very informative key neighbor.
And I'm speaking with, can you state your name?
It's Brandon.
On Sunday, which would have been, let's just double check, the 23rd, were you home that day?
I would have come home a little late that evening, but I would have been here around 8, 9.
So your apartment is right next to apartment number 3. Does your apartment share walls with theirs?
My bedroom shares a wall with the lower half of their apartment.
Do you recall hearing anything coming from apartment 3 after you had gotten home?
Around 10:30 or 11 o'clock, there was a very loud crashing sound where I believe, I'm not sure, I haven't been in their apartment like my roommate, but I believe is the location of the staircase.
A very loud, you said crashing sound?
Yeah, like it sounded like something had been like falling down the stairs. Because it started up high and then it ended low.
When you heard the loud crashing sound, did you hear any voices? Could you make out if you heard a male or female's voice?
I couldn't hear anything, no.
Is that normal for you to hear noises coming from their apartment?
Not loud, but
not that loud?
Not that loud. I'll regularly hear thudding sounds. Stuff being like slammed against the wall or something like that.
But you have heard loud noises in the past, but not as loud as you had heard on Sunday night?
No, it never been that. I felt the walls shake.
Do you know either of them? Do you know...
I've had a few brief interactions with them.
Okay.
But I don't...
do you know who lives there?
Yes.
Can you describe who lives there for me?
Around 40s, blonde woman.
Okay.
And a Hispanic gentleman. I haven't interacted with him much. I've spoken to her a few times.
Anyone else live there?
I believe they have a little boy.
When you have seen them around, how do they appear to you?
They almost always seem either, tired or tweaked out.
The interactions you've had with the female, what do you mean interactions?
I remember one night she slept on porch of my apartment for some reason. I don't remember much, but I just remember looking out the shade and seeing her laid down.
Do you recall, like, maybe what month this was?
I couldn't say. It was pretty early when I moved in. I would say the summer of 2019.
Summer of 2019. Did you wake her, or?
No, I just...
Okay. And by sleeping, you guys all have, like, a cement area, right?
Yes.
Like a back patio? Yes. But it's not enclosed?
No.
Was she in a chair, on the ground?
Like
or?
on the ground.
On the ground. Any other run-ins with her? Things you've witnessed with her?
I was coming home from class one night. I would not be able to give you a time period on this.
Sure,
I don't
yeah.
remember when it is. And I was waiting on my roommate to get home because I had left my keys in the apartment. And I remember she came over and was talking to me for a minute. And it was very visible that, like, she was talking to me because she didn't want to be in her apartment.
Okay.
I don't know why. Like, I didn't ask. But it was just very evident that she didn't want to be there.
Do you remember anything she was saying?
No.
Her demeanor?
She seemed like skittish, like nervous. I don't remember anything we talked about because, in complete honesty, it was in one ear and out the other.
Right, yeah, you were just kind of... Did she appear to be on anything at that point, or just she seemed nervous?
She seemed nervous.
Okay.
She didn't seem high or anything. She just seemed out of it. I would chalk it up to be more like tired and paranoid or nervous, stuff like that.
Okay, is there anything else that you think is important for me to know?
It seemed like an abusive relationship. Just from every time I heard them, every time like I saw the two of them, it seemed rough. It's one of those things where like he was a bad guy.
So Sarah starts acting nervous and she's stating repeatedly, his family is going to kill me. They hate me. They call me the blue-eyed white devil. I am scared. They will kill me. What should I say to them? What should I say to them? She's like literally asking the detectives what she's going to say to them. And then she starts asking the detectives what they're going to say to the family.
And again, if you don't mind me asking, so for whatever it is you all are claiming from the videos, is that what you're going to tell them? Like his parents? It's like, oh yeah, and by the way, she did.
Did what?
I mean, what would you tell them?
I don't think it really matters what we're going to tell the parents.
Oh yeah, it is. It's fuel to the fire.
Well, we can't hide things. I'm not saying that we're going to go and tell them every single thing we have, but again, this is the Orange County Sheriff's Office, that's public record, so eventually, like, this all will come out.
Mm-hmm.
You're making it sound like we're going to tell them something, so then your life is in danger, and I don't like that accusation.
No.
So let's just nip that in the butt right now.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
But
what are we going to tell them?
But we can't even, so technically there's no concrete report yet, even.
Right. So
it's,
you want me to, like, tell you exactly what I'm going to tell them. I don't know what I'm going to tell them. I don't know what I'm going to tell them. Let's just leave it at that.
So Sarah goes on later to discuss how George's family basically stated he needed to cut off communications with Sarah, but he refused to do so and chose her over them. So you guys, we need to talk about police reports between Sarah and George because this is what really tipped me over the edge.
Reports, plural.
Oh, there's a lot. All right, so let's review. There's a police report from Orange County dated July 25th, 2018. At 1:52, officers were called to that same apartment. Sarah and George were at an unknown bar. Sarah asked a guy for a cigarette. And George, of course, who's the boyfriend, for about 1.5 years at this point, got upset. So things escalated, and when they went back to the apartment, they were arguing. Sarah states she was dragged upstairs by George and was kicked in her right eye. The officer then spoke to George, who stated they were both at the apartment, and he went upstairs to avoid Sarah, and Sarah reached toward his throat, applied pressure to the extent that George was having difficult breathing. So he stated he was sitting on the step, and he was kicking to try to keep her away from him. So he said that he believes he might have kicked Sarah in the face, but he wasn't sure. He stated he believed if he didn't kick her off, she would have incapacitated him by strangulation. So George refused medical treatment also, and he refused to sign the dating violence paperwork. The left side of George's neck had red markings and small abrasions that's consistent with being strangled. Sarah's right eye is bruised and swollen from an impact. The officer attempted to try and figure out who was the aggressor, and he just could not because they were not cooperating. They were both saying the same thing. So he decided to arrest both parties and take them both down to Orange County Booking and Receiving. So George was charged for dating violence and Sarah for aggravated battery by strangulation. So now let's go to June 15th, 2019.
Okay.
The police were called again at 17:08 or 5:08 p.m. out to the Franz Court, apartment 3 for battery. Sarah stated that George beat her up, face, head, legs, and arms. Sarah says she begged him to stop, and George replied, "You are going to die." Sarah stated George punched her in the head and flung her off the bed. This time, Sarah provided a statement, desires prosecution, and will testify in court. Officers put George in handcuffs, read him his rights, and asked him how he got scratches. He said he didn't know. From what I've seen, this was a very controlling issue of her, and the reason I'm saying that is because later on during the interrogation, the officers repeatedly ask her about him having a phone, and she continually says he doesn't have a phone. They're like, well, how does he use the phone? Well, he can use my phone.
But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both.
But you have the face and the password.
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
No.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me that he looks at the phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking me if I did. Yes, it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to your phone? Because you said it's Sarah's phone. Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it because it's password protected?
He'll come and get it to me and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like he's, look, he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No.
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than...
Lucas.
Right.
That's a number one red flag. Like, if you have a partner who's doing that, that's your red flag.
Please leave.
Yes, this is a controlling
PSA.
situation. Yes, please. But there's just things throughout that made me go, Anyhow, George was arrested for battery, for dating violence. In similarity, this entire incident, according to Sarah, was due to Sarah speaking to another man. Now we're on June 18th, 2019. We made it 3 whole days.
My mommy's birthday.
So Sarah calls the police again. This time she states that George was using her credit cards without her knowledge, but she didn't want to press charges. So the cops are like, okay, and what are you calling us for?
Hi, are we just having a conversation?
And just when you think that it's all done, we make it 2 more months.
Okay.
August 28th, 2019 at 19:54, so that's 7:54 p.m. Police were called again by Sarah. Sarah says she was asleep in her bedroom when George woke her up while coming into the bedroom screaming and angry. She stated George continuously punched her in the neck and pulled her hair.
Oh, shit.
Right. Sarah then states she threw George off the bed when she feared he was going to bang her head on the marble windowsill.
Ooh.
I know. Sarah was angry, upset, apologizing, and stating how fed up she was with being hit to the officer on the scene.
Well, yeah.
So Sarah said she is not willing to testify or prosecute for this incident.
That does kind of make sense, though, because, like, a lot of battered women are afraid of the abuser. Like, playing devil's advocate, assuming that she was a battered woman. Because, like, I've known a few, and it was very clear that they were being beaten, and they were still too afraid.
Let's see. When the officer asked George what happened to Sarah, he stated, "I don't know." When asked how she got marks on her, George alluded that he gets hit all the time, and what is he supposed to do? So, anyway, they arrested George for that, and they took him in for battery of domestic violence.
Right.
In September of 2019, the police were called yet again to the apartment, another battery situation. I'm not going to go into it. Same thing, guys.
Oh, my God.
And then, so now we're to February 2020. So, September 2019, February 2020, George is suffocated while folded up like a pretzel inside a suitcase. All right, so on the autopsy, February 25th, 2020, the autopsy comes back with long scratches to his mid and upper back, a large scratch on the posterior neck, so on the back of the neck. So there's contusions is bruises, sorry, to the left shoulder, the left side of the face, and forehead. So the official cause of death by autopsy was asphyxiation. All right, so the detectives decided to bring Sarah back in for the follow-up interview. This interview with her at the station is incredibly ridiculous. Like, everybody has to watch that. So her story of alcohol keeps changing nonstop. She says she needed to keep her wits about her, so she definitely wasn't drunk.
You remember making that video?
Oh.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
No. Just because I went upstairs and... Just because you're drunk doesn't mean that you...
told us times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay.
Well, Sarah gave a verbal and written consent to her iPhone XS to download all the data on her phone or whatever they need. The detectives go on to ask her about who uses this phone, and you know something's coming because they're like, well, how does your boyfriend use the phone? Who else was in the house? Who else could have possibly used the phone? Nobody. Lucas was there. Nobody can use my phone.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, I know, like, I can feel that they're setting her up for a different situation, and this one just thinks she's getting herself out of something, you know? So guess what they find on the phone?
I'm having the hardest time not reading ahead.
Stop
I keep glancing and I'm like, first video, what?
At no point, by the way, after these officers even start questioning her about this phone, at no point does she look like she got some sense to her. Does she look like she was like, I want an attorney? Nothing. I watched it like at least twice.
I wonder if she was like, oh, having an attorney will make me look guilty, so I'm just not going to ask.
Oh, no. Well, they found 2 videos, one of which was about 2 minutes long, and the other was 20 seconds long.
Hey, guys. This is Editing Shay, so we are about to put in the audio recording of what is kind of speculated to be George's final moments. It is really hard to listen to, but we wanted to put the full 2 minutes and 4 seconds in just to show like what kind of mental state Sarah was maybe in that moment. So if you guys are sensitive to stuff like that, please feel free to just skip forward exactly 2 minutes and 4 seconds. If you need to skip ahead, don't feel bad. We are going to get into it in about a second. This is a trigger warning. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Sarah. I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real or ransom. I want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real or ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you ching on me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Fucking breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the fuck up.
Sarah.
The first video at 11:12 p.m. and it's a video, not an audio. Like, it's a video of the suitcase. So when you asked me about the suitcase,
wait, like he's in it?
Yes, he's in it. It's laying. It appears between but just by watching the video, between like a kitchen bar area and the living room. It's on carpet and it is face down. So if you take your big rolling suitcase and
the wheels
you zip it up, exactly that front part that you would top open sideways is laying down on the floor.
What
It's flat down.
Okay, now I'm starting to think she did yeet him down the stairs.
Anyways, that video goes on. It's very disgusting.
Oh
it makes me sick to my stomach because he literally is like, Sarah, I can't fucking breathe.
No.
And what's even worse is this incredible view that she's given of George over the past. At no point of him in the suitcase on these videos was he cursing her, was he calling her names. He literally, it sounded like he knew how to de-escalate her.
Oh,
and that's what he was trying to do. He was just like, Sarah, please.
Fuck, dude.
Please. Like, the dude is begging with every last breath he has.
Oh my God.
It's disgusting. So now that's 11:12.
Okay.
Second video, 11:23. So even so, we're talking 11 minutes between videos that he was sitting in there not able to breathe. Okay?
Okay.
The suitcase is flipped over. So now the top part that you would unzip and flap, that little flap you would flap open to put your clothes in. Like when you lay your big suitcase on the floor to put clothes in. It's flipped over so that the upside is up. And it's like in front of that bar to the kitchen. It's
so
not
she
in the same
moved
exact.
it?
How would he flip that himself over in that huge suitcase?
Yeah, what the get out, flip it, get back in? Like, girl, no.
No.
I'd be like, I'm not getting back in that. I know what you're going to do to me.
Yeah, so he's still yelling Sarah. Like, you can hear him. It's a quick video, that second one. But, you know, it's heart-wrenching. Okay, so this is a horrible way to die, right? Basically, this man suffocated in a claustrophobic situation inside of a suitcase. Unfortunately, begging for his life.
After potentially being launched down the stairs. Because now I can't imagine a way that it would be upside down unless using like kid or like drunk logic. Maybe they were like, oh, if I lay on it while it's face down, you can like put the back over me and box me in. Like, that's the only thing I could think of.
But again, we're talking about her story is they're playing hide and seek.
Oh, true.
Nobody is hiding and seeking.
Yeah, if we go back to the original story, that does not make sense.
I mean, when the seeker finds the person, which I'm guessing, my guess, you guys, pure guess, is he was hiding in that suitcase in the back of the closet and she was being a little witch and she zipped him up without him knowing. That's my guess. And threw him down the stairs.
Honestly, my money is still on she shoved him down the stairs. He was slightly incapacitated enough that she could like throw him in the...
You know what? It could be.
God.
And I don't know if she'll ever talk or we'll figure it out, but we'll see. I mean...
Either way, it's freaking horrible.
Right? It's horrible. I think it's terrible. So, did Sarah really forget about these videos? I mean, I can tell you, she looked shocked.
Do you think that she took them or they like,
Oh, she took them.
Oh,
you can see she's on the other side of the room holding the iPhone.
Oh, shit.
Nobody else was there. Nobody else was there. That's why the police asked her repeatedly who else was there. Who else could have used your phone? She answered all those questions happily, thinking she was getting out of something.
No, he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm assuming, other than...
Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday. Right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
the dogs,
and George and them dancing. But I mean, it's just Tess.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's about to die.
Shutting down.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just simply asking because you had a look on your face when she asked you if you've ever done that before. You looked kind of shocked and...
No.
Okay, but why did you say it like that? Like,
I don't think you all understand who I am.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I mean, I've always been a straight-A student. I am an outstanding mother to my son. Okay. I excel at everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't zip somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't, completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
Okay. No, it was just the way you said it.
You guys are scaring me.
Why?
Well, we just want you to watch this. This came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on it?
Yes, please. Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I don't know how much I can take. Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on. That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
And this
Fuck
is,
you.
that's you, your voice.
I don't want to watch it, please.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out, and you
I
went
flipped
to bed.
him over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
I mean, there's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions.
But now the male detective is still sitting in there.
Yeah.
You know, and he was pretty much quiet for a while. And he, like, starts asking her questions, and you can see her escalate.
I understand where you all are coming from.
Well, we're just trying to make sense of it. We're trying to figure out what
We're trying
you're
to
saying.
figure out this video.
You explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was... My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to... He'll be up here any minute.
But you willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase.
So why didn't you take him out?
Because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think, he's asking to come out, he
I
can't
didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the
And what was
suitcase,
your plan?
waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't?
No.
Well, that didn't cross your mind because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just,
We're asking.
it's the whole...
You tell us.
It's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't...
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Nobody understands our relationship. The whole suitcase thing never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a
No.
joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you love
I wouldn't do
George.
that to him, either. I wouldn't do that to him.
So, I just...
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like,
I mean...
that was not my intention.
Well,
y'all don't have any idea what
by
I've
your
done
acts,
for
though.
him.
But by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show you
No.
any appreciation.
He did.
Not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
He did.
Because you bring up the fact that when he's choking you, you can't breathe. That's how you felt when he cheated on you. You couldn't breathe. And you verbally several times told him just fuck you.
Well, you said it in the video, but you won't let us play the rest of it 'cause you don't want to...
When I say cheating, it's on his phone.
Okay. Cheating is cheating.
I
And if
think
you
so,
say-
too.
Exactly.
It's your definition of cheating, though, so, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what the word cheat means.
And that's what you told him in the video. That I couldn't breathe when you cheated on me.
No.
That's how I felt when he said, Sarah, I can't breathe. And you told him,
I don't
fuck
know
you.
what you... This is...
What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
Done what?
Zipped somebody in a suitcase and went up and went to bed.
Do you all not think... So you all think that it's like, oh, good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you guys are trying to assume?
The video is very portraying of the opposite of what you told us. It is not matching what statement you gave us in the car.
So...
And that's why we want to know...
And I don't remember doing those.
The injuries are not consistent with what you told us. So we have a lot of inconsistencies, and this video explains itself. It really, truly does.
So she keeps getting upset and saying, it wasn't intentional. I know what this looks like. It's not intentional. What do you want from me? Like, she literally does.
The truth?
But that's what they kept saying.
Sarah, just spill the beans, sister.
She won't. So never does she imply or take any responsibility for what she did. She keeps acting like the victim. She, quote, says It was horrific. I will never be okay, and I have a lot to deal with in my life. And now this, the one I love, it wasn't intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. Not intentional. This is not fair. She goes into this long thing about, so I need you guys to tell me what I need to do now. And they're like, what?
Tell the truth. We'll start there.
Yeah, she just gets to be ridiculous. So she keeps getting upset. She gets ridiculous. She keeps saying the same things over again. What do you want me to say? I don't know what you want me to say. And then she swears on her son, Lucas. Yes.
Lucas is like, keep me out of this, bitch.
That's when the female officer was like, okay, well, I don't know you. And I don't know your son, but okay, if you want to swear on your son, then okay. So anyways, I'm pretty sure it was the female detective who was like, okay, if you were in a suitcase and asking to be let out, would you want the person to let you out? Boom. And Sarah says, eventually. Then Sarah quickly says, I am blaming it on the wine. You guys are trying to pin it on me. So here comes a story change, right? So
who else is there, Sarah?
They asked her repeatedly on purpose about the wine. She denied. No. First she said it was half a bottle of wine.
I was going to say.
Then she said they shared a whole bottle of wine. And she kept saying, no, I kept my wits about me. But now we're at the end. She saw the videos.
She's like, oh my God, it was
so now her story is changing.
Okay.
Yeah. So she literally says that right in the interrogation. Like plain as day is she's blaming it on the wine.
Okay.
This is kind of funny. The officer intervenes and Sarah's rambling about what she should do because she keeps asking them what she needs to do next.
I'm not admitting anything about being intentional and I killed George. Okay. That's not the situation, but it's trying to be pinned on me.
Okay.
That was not my intent, but it's trying to be pinned on me. So however or whatever it is I need to do in order for that to be proven, then I need to do so, which is why I'm trying to get my ducks in a row.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking what the next step is other than me getting my nails swabbed.
I mean, you want me to tell you how to not be accused of a crime? Is that what you're asking? Like, I don't know what you
I'm trying to prepare myself for whatever may need to be done so I can, I guess, stick up for myself.
I mean, I think you're doing just fine. You came, you talked.
I just don't want you guys to, again, show up and Lucas is in the house.
Well, we did tell you yesterday that we don't want to do anything around your son, hence why you came to us. So I don't know why you think that's going to change.
And then right after that, Sarah says to the cops, oh, by the way, is that what you're going to tell his parents? And then she says this is her words, tell his parents she did, like a question, like she's asking like she did. And the male officer quickly says, did what? Like they're still trying to get her to say it. And Sarah doesn't answer. And so she keeps saying this stuff. And so she's glaring at the male officer because he starts to put handcuffs on her, like nasty glares. And she keeps saying, why? And the male officer's like, because George is dead. Now, he didn't just have to say that once. She keeps saying it and he keeps answering, because George is dead. Yeah. Why are you arresting me? Because George is dead. But it wasn't intentional. He goes, well, he's still dead.
That doesn't make him less dead.
Yeah. So during that time, she's like, I do everything for him. Everybody knows I do everything. And the cop was like, you didn't let him out of the suitcase.
Ooh,
you didn't. And the other cop was like, well, you definitely didn't check on him in the suitcase.
Oh my God. They're so tired of Floridians there. They're like, I live here. I see Florida man every day. Like,
I mean, Florida women, I've got a ton of Florida women to cover. Meanwhile, there's a picture obtained from Sarah's Facebook page of a child being zipped up in a suitcase.
I'm sorry. Is this her freaking pastime?
Exactly. So during the interview, this just made me remember that the female detective asks her, well, okay, because she's trying to establish a baseline. I see what she's doing. It looked really good. She's like, well, I understand you're playing hide and seek with George. Have you done this before with anybody else? And she says, no. And she's like, okay, but would you put Lucas inside the suitcase and zip him up and leave him? And she's like, no. And she keeps saying she left fingers from the zipper so that he could get out.
Right.
But, the officer's clearly trying to establish her pattern. And she's just as dumb as can be. Instead of her like trying to say, well, yeah, I played this game all the time.
Like get ahead of it.
She totally answers it to show that she
dumbass
never puts anybody in a suitcase. She's never played in a suitcase. This isn't normal.
She's never played in a suitcase.
You know what I mean? Like, listen,
such a fucking
if Sarah's gonna tell somebody that she zips somebody up and plays hide and seek in a suitcase, then she better get her damn story straight. I mean, like, you would think that she would be like, yeah, I do this all the time. Of course, like, it's fun. Haven't you ever played that?
Have you ever sat in a suitcase? It's like a sensory suit.
In court, this stuff is going to haunt her.
Oh, I can't wait. This dumb bitch.
Yeah, so she was arrested, charged with second-degree murder. Of course, she pleaded not guilty. There's been so many delays. The trial has been canceled 6 times. And it seems like there's not an attorney who wants to represent her. She's had like 6 or 7 attorneys.
Yeah, she sounds like a fucking nightmare.
So she wrote, the last thing that happened is she wrote a letter to her attorney and to the judge about having no communication with this attorney. And she's like, he's only talked to me once a month. It's this big long letter. I'll put it on there. It's so interesting. And not only does she send it to the attorney, basically saying, I want you to take my calls every day. You'll be reimbursed afterwards, whatever, all this crap. She literally, and I have the envelope, a picture of the envelope, she sent it to the judge themselves.
So, like, hold on. Is that typical that you said that was a court appointed attorney?
Yeah. Is it typical? They have a huge caseload.
That's what I was thinking. So you
know,
would think it'd be like once a month?
Yeah, so I think she outlines 3 times in her letter that he talked to her, and he said it was like 15 minutes the first time for a brief consult.
Yeah.
And then like 30 minutes the second time, and then a few minutes the third time, and that's it. And I get it. I understand if I were her, I would be like, what's going on? But I feel like there's a lot of those types of letters or something going on because apparently none of the attorneys want to represent her. You don't normally go through 6 or 7 attorneys before you even get to trial. So either it's that or she won't comply with.
I was gonna, well, it's like put up or shut up. Like if you want a good attorney, you pay for it. If you're not gonna pay for it, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Well, and the thing is, like, those defending attorneys are good, but they're not
sorry,
stupid.
That sounded like
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. If you want, I think what you mean is like if you want an attorney who's going to baby you,
and
who's going to sit there and sit with you and cuddle you, then you're going to pay a crap ton of money for that cuddling. But the job that they do in the end is not going to be that much different. It could be a little different because they have more time to invest, but
at the end of the day, they're both lawyers. They both went to the same fucking courses. Like,
yeah, it's crazy, and I don't know if that's why she keeps getting canceled, because she keeps going through attorneys. But I'm feeling like if this is a pattern, I'm feeling like what's going on is these attorneys are telling her the truth of what the outcome is. Exactly, of what the outcome is going to be, and in her head, she thinks that she should get off of all of this immediately.
That's what I'm wondering, if they're like, you need to plead guilty, and she's like, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Even if they say not guilty, no contest, settle for a lesser charge. We're talking about Florida. I've talked to you about Florida. They don't screw around with these sentences.
No.
It could be very possible she gets life for this. If she gets life, that's it. You're there till you die.
Yeah,
life is life. You don't get no 20 years, 30 years, all this crap that we keep talking about. It's till you die.
Yeah.
So I'm sure these attorneys are probably telling her that. She's probably getting mad and hanging up or saying, I'm not doing that, and they're lost. Because,
yeah, you are.
I mean, at some point, they have to represent her, and they're like, okay, well, I'm just telling you that the outcome's not going to be good, and she probably gets mad and fires them.
Yeah.
This case is going to be very, very interesting, and I did want to wait until the trial came to cover it, but I decided I'm tired of waiting, and I will still cover it when the trial comes and more information comes out. But now you guys have a heads up on the background before January of 2023 when it comes on. So thank you guys for joining us. Visit our website, cx3podcast.com, where you can find additional information, including our blog, pictures, sources, and other fun topics. You can also keep up with episode announcements. We're going to have future giveaways, and drop us some suggestions or constructive feedback. All of our streaming options, viewing options, our Patreon and social media pages are available on our Linktree page at linktr.ee.
Yeah.
All right. /CX3_. So we tried to keep our handle
_podcast.
Sorry, guys. CX3_ podcast. We tried to keep our handle CX3_ for most things. So
yeah. I think the only one that doesn't have CX3_ podcast is our Gmail. And that's because I hadn't come up with our handles yet. And oops.
Okay. So you can find all of our links on the Linktree. In addition, we need our Mysterions help, please, please, please. And there are some free ways to support our show. You can go and rate, follow, like, share, and subscribe.
Always awesome. Always
yes,
helpful.
Please. And you can also help support us by joining our patreon.com/cx3_podcast.com. And that would really, really help us out, because we want to keep on doing this. And if you guys have ideas, let us know. We want to support you. We appreciate all of your help, and you guys are helping us do
By
things that we like to
existing.
do.
Yeah. Honestly, and I'm so excited about the Patreon. Like, I just started screwing around with it yesterday, and like we put up the different tiers and the different options that come in the tiers. Like, for example, there's like a Discord server, and we're gonna chit chat in there. We can do live streams, random basically like merch and swag giveaways.
Oh, Shay, don't forget.
What?
You guys,
I did
we
forget.
have super exciting thing that we're doing during season 1. It's kind of like a guessing game.
Yes.
A big guessing game. The goal is to listen for our letter hints, which are in random podcast episodes throughout season 1.
And this letter is S.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
All right, so S is one of the letters. When you obtain all 10 letters from the letter hints and unscramble them, the letters will spell out the name of the village in which all of us Mysterion share, because our favorite saying is, don't forget it takes a village. So, yeah, it's just kind of like the name of our little community, our village, where, you know, we all can have fun and enjoy life in here. It's, you know,
it's a safe space in our silly goofy world.
So whoever gets that, we'll have something for that
a
coming.
crisp high five. I'm just kidding.
You are too much. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we can't wait to hear your feedback and see you guys on our pages, and reach out to us if you have any questions or any thoughts on these cases before we dive deeper into them, and we'll try to cover whatever it is you want to know.
We're so excited. This is so fun. Like, thank you guys for hanging out with us every week. We adore all of you.
Yes, thank you guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.